And a good Saturday morning to all of our Oaklawn race fans, and welcome to this edition of Oaklawn Today. We got the dynamic trifecta on set. We've got track announcer Matt Dinerman, paddock analyst Crystal Conning, and then you got this one. So we're going to see what we can do to hopefully give you some top selections for today's 10 race card. Very happy, as I think we all are, that the rain has stopped, hopefully, for the day. So with that being said, let's take a look at our weather page and see what Mother Nature has in store. We will race under sloppy track conditions, at least to start things out. A few clouds in the sky, 49 degrees, and winds out of the southwest at 3 miles per hour. We come off a really good day of racing yesterday. So glad to be back. Matt, I asked Crystal yesterday what she did during the downtime to keep her busy. What did you do to stay occupied?
So I didn't hike like Crystal did. I did take a trek in the snow a couple times.
Okay.
I wanted to put on some layers, got out of the house, but it was a Netflix and chill type of time for me. I'm in the House of Cards season 4. So
Oh, very nice.
we're making our way.
Yeah, you really binged if you're on season 4. I like
Big
that.
time.
Okay.
Big time.
All right.
So that's sort of what we did. Just relaxed and rested up the pipes for this week. But
Definitely.
so happy to be back.
And a big weekend to come next as well. Let's take a look at our news page, and there are quite a few Friday highlights. Christian Torres expands his winning lead as he had 3 victories on Friday's program, a riding double for Manny Esquivel. Johnny Ortiz making 2 trips himself, training 2 victors, and 2 wins also for Flurry Racing as they are at the top of the owner standings. And how about this, guys? Colosi lit up the tote board in yesterday's second race at 66 to 1. Trained by Joe Pedalino, ridden to victory by Ramsey Zimmerman, and the New Yorker, David Jacobson, sends out Durante as he is favored in today's feature, the 5th season stakes. And you got 2 ways to score very big today. Don't miss out on the $120,000 for 120 years giveaway, and also opportunity today to cash in your mystery mutual vouchers. So once you come on into the track, make sure you go to the promotions table right next to the info booth by the paddock, and all you got to do, get a ticket just for showing up. And I'm going to stick around after the races, and at 7 o'clock, call 4 names that did attend the races that will insert their tickets into the casino drum for $5 grand. So very good. You got a chance to win $5 grand just by showing up today, getting a ticket for that drawing. And the Mystery Mutual vouchers, I asked in marketing, what's the value? Because I love those type of promotions. Everywhere from $2, obviously, put 2 to win on a horse. There's 2 Mystery Mutual vouchers that were mailed out, 2 tickets for $25,000.
Wow.
That's a lot of coin right
awesome.
there. So hopefully you kept those tickets, and you can redeem them at select mutual windows. We do have 10 amazing races in store today, so let's get things underway as we will start race number 1. 3-year-olds and up, a maiden special weight event. They are going to contest a mile and a 16th in distance, and there are several scratches on the program. So after the show, Matt will be heading up to the announcer booth to give you all of the full set of changes. But in the opener, all of these runners do have 2-turn experience. That's a very good factor, but quite a few also are exiting key races, including one of 2 McPeak contenders, and that is Ben Franklin. So if we could, let's put up the entry page for today's opener, and we do have a scratch of the 3 with a field of 8. Not sure if we have the entry page, but I'm going to start off, Matt, I'm going to start off at that. You're into the table.
Ben Franklin is one of my favorite founding fathers.
Oh,
Just want
I
to
love
put it
that.
out there. Yeah, very intellectual guy. That said, I'm not going to pick him on top. Ben Franklin will have to settle for a minor award, hopefully, to my top pick, Night Quick, who coincidentally, he's not really sprinty quick, but he's got some route quickness, hopefully, at least against this field. And last time out, this horse ran 3rd to now retired Moulion, who's the full sibling to Mandaloon, who is very well regarded. So I don't think that last race where he lost by 10 running 3rd to a runaway winner, I think that's a little bit deceiving. His 2-back effort was good, only lost by a half length here at Oaklawn Park. And Brad Cox, good trainer. You get the red-hot jockey right now, Christian Torres, aboard. So
unbelievable.
Ben, sorry, buddy. We're going to go with Night Quick here.
I love that. Crystal, how did you see the opener?
Yeah, look, I saw it the same as all three of us. This horse looks a standout in here, 7-5, as you expect. Brad Cox, what more do you need to say? Leading trainer, leading rider kind of combination there. I thought the blinkers off was an interesting angle here for this horse as well. I thought he just over-raced slightly last time out in that one-turn mile. Definitely cost himself second, I thought, in that race, not settling that little more early. I think the blinkers off and the extra turn here is going to help him settle a little. And I think he'll be able to show a little bit more turn of foot that he showed in his second effort back here in April when he was a closing second behind a next out winner there. The third horse in that race also came back to win a maiden special weight at Alice. So he's been rubbing shoulders with some good contenders. I think this is his day to get his maiden one. And the blinkers off is also a 32% angle for Brad Cox. So the 5 horse for me in there.
Well,
all three of us.
Crystal and I called it yesterday, saying Christian Torres was going to have a very good day. I'm glad we didn't put the kibosh on him.
Yeah.
That did come to fruition. If I'm not great at history, but wasn't it Ben Franklin that wanted the national bird to be the turkey?
Maybe. I think you're right about that.
I think it might have been Ben Franklin, and I'm glad that didn't happen because I really like turkey burgers. So, with that said, let's move on to race number 2. This is a $30,000 claimer. Non-winners of 2, 4 and up, and they will also contest a mile and a 16th. Did have scratches of the 10 and the 11, and several runners in here have kind of spent a bit of their career chasing win number 2, but the morning line favorite certainly on target and consistent in the money, 6 of 10. That is the number 6, Ben Dreaming. So, Crystal, it's your turn for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to not stick with the Ben thing here. I'm going to take the 9.
Good segue, because I didn't put 2 and 2 together right now.
I'm going to take the 9 horse in here, Canaval, from Matt Williams, Ricardo Santana to do the steering, 9-2 on the morning line. This horse was a $30,000 claim, 3 back, and he's run in really tough spots his last 2. He was well spotted in a second level allowance here on January 6th, but he ran a very competitive 76 buyer here, also 2 starts back in a start of 50. His best races came at this $30,000 level, so he gets back in with his friends here. He's shown he likes the local surface enough. He broke his maiden going a mile and 70, so the trip here shouldn't bother him. The 9 hole is a touch awkward with that short run into the first turn, but he does seem an adaptable type, and there's not a ton of speed drawn inside, and he gets some nice recency here, also being his 3rd out of the meet.
Now, Matt, I like to see horses really move forward. He ran Ben ran 3rd, 3 back, 2nd last out. I just kind of go with a natural progression. What did you like about Ben Dreaming?
What I liked is that last race, you look at who he finished behind, Zap Motion. That was a huge effort from the winner that day. So I actually thought he ran pretty well. He was just 2nd best. And I think most horses at this type of level, they're probably not going to run the type of race that Zap Motion did that day. He just absolutely freaked in the mud. But Ben Dreaming ran well, so he is going to be my top pick. I think Ignitus is a little interesting at a price. I just couldn't pick him on top, being 1 for 29. But other than that, I think Ben Dreaming, 2nd start off a layoff here. He should be able to take a step forward. I think he's the right one. And by the way, my name's Matt, not Ben. Just a heads up.
Did I really just call you Ben?
No.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
I was
People might think I like the name Ben.
Or something.
People might think I like the name Ben. I'm Matt. So we're thinking Bens are both going to run well today at the very least.
Possible.
You know.
Very possible. That trend is not going to continue for race number 3. The majority of the field is taking that drop from straight maiden down in for a tag. This is straight 3-year-olds maiden claiming of $50,000, and they're going to sprint 6 furlongs in distance. We have a full field of 12 lined up for this one. The morning line favorite is all the way on the outside. But Crystal, let's see your selections for the 3rd.
Yeah, I took a little bit of a price horse in here. Not a big price, but 5-1. The 1 horse in here, Corked, for Lindsay Schultz, Francesco Arrieta to do the steering. I thought this horse improved a lot from start 1 to start 2. Physically and mentally, I saw this horse at Monmouth Park this summer on debut, and he's really grown into himself. He's still got a bit more growing to do. He's kind of a later on sort of type, but he was 2nd here last out in the maiden 40 ranks on December 30. He got well back there and made a really nice kind of late run. I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up a nice route horse, this fella, as he matures, but I think he has that sort of sharpness and toughness to get the job done here sprinting.
Now, Matt, I see you're going to go just a couple stalls to the inside of the favorite with Mirage, and a good price as well, getting 10-1 on the line.
10-1, and I think that he'll probably stick there at 10-1. His first career race was very good. He ran second. It was for maiden 20, and this is a maiden 50. But you look at who he finished behind. He ran second to Play the Trumpet, who just romped in his next start against winners. So that's a positive. He lost to a better-than-average maiden 20 horse, and Play the Trumpet was also low odds that day. Comes back in a maiden special weight going 2 turns. Pedigree says he'd like the 2 turns, but he just, I don't think, A, took to the 2 turns, and B, I think he was in a little bit tough in that maiden special weight. So my favorite angles in play here, cutting back from a route to a sprint, second time sprinting. I think this horse has some seasoning now to where maybe he can improve off that 2-back effort, second time sprinting, and the speed figures stack up. So Mirage is son of good magic here. Pretty decently bred, and I like this guy at a price. And I looked at this race, and I think it's one of the more competitive races on the card, gals.
Yeah, we saw some really good competitive races yesterday. Certainly going to be the trend throughout this entire meeting. Moving on to race number 4. This is a starter allowance condition, 1 mile and an eighth, and it is for 4-year-olds and up. Did have several scratches of the 2, 4, 5, and the 12, and the top 2 morning line favorites not affected by the recent weather that hit Arkansas anyway. One actually coming up from New Orleans and the other coming down from New York. Matt, you're up, sir.
I don't have a strong opinion on this race, but I think Bear Oak's probably the one to beat. Just was out finished for 3rd last time to Escapeologist, who ran a very respectable second yesterday and a good second level allowance, so that's a positive thing. There's some pace in here, so he's going to be coming from off the pace, and this horse has good records over wet surfaces. So we know he's probably going to get the trip. He's probably going to like the surface. This is a drop down in class for him. I think this field is a lot lighter than what he saw last time out. A good field nonetheless, but Bear Oak, Tom Amos, second start off the claim here seems like the one. So again, I don't have a strong opinion, but he's who I landed on.
So Matt goes with Bear Oak, who did have some recent works out at Fairgrounds, and Crystal's going with the other horse not affected, and that one coming in from New York for the barn of David Jacobson. Crystal?
Yeah, I'm going to take the 7 horse in here, sitting on go, 5-2 on the morning line. I feel like that those 2 horses are going to come in a little more than that, maybe. Looks the one to beat to me in here, coming in from a dominant win at Aqueduct last time out, going 1.25 miles on January 4. He takes a little step down in class here from the start of 20 ranks, and he's had 2 works since then also. I just think he's going to have a fitness advantage over some of these local horses that had that training disruption. He's proven at these longer routes, and trainer is 25% out with last out winners and has done well shipping these horses in so far for the meet. So, but I think it's going to be tough between those 2 horses. But like you said, it's one of those races. I think it could be with the 1 mile and an eighth as well as an extra thing to consider, and the wet track. It's interesting,
sure.
Yeah.
A lot of variables.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, not only looking at sit-in on go, but also Durante in the feature. If you look at the work pattern for these Jacobson runners, they're very similar and kind of what I would consider unusual. The drill 3 back, they were all at Belmont on January 15th, just a nice little half mile. Then on the 19th, just 5 days later, quick little 3/8 just to tighten up, and then 5 days after, on the 24th, a half mile also at Belmont. So kind of unusual. You know, trainers typically now will spread out their works 7, even 10 days. But I actually called the agent for Ramon Vasquez, Billy Castle, and said, hey, you know David Jacobson really well. What's that like? You know, what's the method behind the madness, so to speak? He said that's very old school, very 70s thing to do, and we did see that more decades ago than we do now. And David Jacobson shortly thereafter got in the car, and I was on speaker with him. He said, I just wanted to make sure they were completely fit and ready for the ship to Arkansas. So it's kind of interesting to see different patterns for different trainers.
And he has a pretty unconventional training style, like you said, to nowadays, but you won't see too much from them in the mornings. Once they're fit, he's very much, hey, if we look on the page, we're not going to know how they worked other than nice and easy, and that's all we're going to know. Just maintain that fitness.
Yeah, very interesting. Race number 5 is for the ladies, the fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2, Claiming price, $50,000. They're expensive ones. Did have a couple scratches of the 2 and the 14. They're going to contest 6 furlongs. All but one in this group is making their very first start of the calendar year. And Shanisa, is one who drops in and races for the tag for the first time today. Crystal, let's start off with you for the 5th.
Yeah, I like Shanisa in here on top for those reasons you just said. Of course, Steve Asmussen, Velasquez in the irons. Just a consistent sort of trier, this mare. She was second last out in allowance company at Indiana, ahead of Stella Lilly, who came back and won a second level allowance here before the break by 10 lengths with an 81 buyer. Makes me think a repeat of that last effort would put this filly in good stead here. She ran the equal last highest buyer in this group, as well as having ran well here previously and on rain-affected ground.
Matt, I see you're going to go with another price in this leg with You Little Vixen. Love that name. Coming in from the barn of Kelly Von Hemel.
You look at her last race, she went off favorite in an allowance race. She went off favorite in a big field. So there was something there. Somebody liked something. But 3 starts ago, the only time she won easy. It was at Prairie Meadows. She got everything her own way. But she did it the right way. And a daughter of Twirling Candy, she got the pedigree to be speedy. I think that in for 50, this is not a suspicious drop. I just think that this is a runner that needs the drop. And after that poor effort dueling on the lead, I'm hoping that the class can prevail here. I don't think we're going to get 8-1, but even if we got 4-5, I'd be happy with it. So You Little Vixen versus Shanisa, who I do think is the one to beat. And look who Shanisa just beat, Stellar Lily.
nice
second,
runner.
who came back to win by about, what?
10-ish?
Here to Little Rock?
Yeah. Daylight.
A pole.
Right.
Yeah.
A literal pole.
We're going to take a quick break here on this Saturday edition of Oaklawn Today. And when we return, it'll be the first leg of the late 50-cent Pick 5. We'll be right back.
The thrill of thoroughbred racing is always available with Oaklawn Anywhere. When they can't make it to the track, Arkansas residents can watch and wager on horse races from all over the world with any smartphone, laptop, or tablet, anytime, anywhere. Go to oaklawnanywhere.com or download the free Oaklawn Anywhere app and register for a $150 sign-up bonus. Bet online anytime with Oaklawn Anywhere, Arkansas's exclusive window to worldwide racing. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Attention Oaklawn, you're just a swipe away from a prize, and this time, you have 2 ways to win. Keep swiping your driver's license on Fridays and Sundays for free or discounted items, as well as free race bets. In honor of Mardi Gras, your swipes could win you a trip to New Orleans. Your swipe on Fridays and Sundays score you a double entry for our Mardi Gras giveaway, and on Saturdays, you'll receive a single entry. The Mardi Gras drawing will be on Saturday, February 10th. So listen for your name, because after races 1 through 6, 4 names will be drawn to win a $100 race bet. And after race 7, 1 lucky winner will be drawn to win a trip to New Orleans. You can't win if you don't swipe.
Don't forget to swipe, because if you swipe, you get a chance to win that amazing trip to Mardi Gras and go hang out down in Bourbon Street and maybe have some adult beverages. I don't know. Throw some beads. Who knows? It's a good time though. That's what I hear. And always eat a king cake. Do they have anything similar to Mardi Gras or anything like that in Australia?
Yeah, we have a Mardi Gras in Sydney, and they shut down a route through the city, and they do a big parade with the big floats and everything, and it's a big deal. It's a lot of fun. We actually, probably 10 or 11 years ago now, we had an equestrian themed float in the parade.
Cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. All the riders got in wore sparkly top hats and jackets, and they had a dance with the pitchforks and stuff through this. It was very cool. So we take it very seriously in Australia as well.
Well, Mardi Gras is fun, but one thing we take very seriously here in Hot Springs is St. Patrick's Day. We have the world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade, and Oaklawn, I believe, is going to have a float this year. Celebrities come from all over. We have a celebrity grand marshal. That's a really good time. Concerts, and get your green on, because get your green on. So that's a very, very fun time. A lot of festivities coming up in the near future. Race number 6 starts the first leg of the late 50-cent pick 5. This is for 4-year-olds and up, $30,000 claim price, non-winners of 3 races in the life, going 6 furlongs in distance, a couple scratches, just the also eligibles. That means a full field of 12, and quite a few in this group are lightly raced at this non-2 level, but Infiltrator makes his second start off the layoff, exiting a third versus similar. So good reason to think that he's going to move forward. But without further ado, Matt Dinerman. I'm going to start calling you Matt Ben Dinerman.
I was just going to say, I was looking if I could find a Ben in here. I couldn't find one.
Matt Bennerman.
Matt Bennerman.
Yeah.
There you go, Matt Bennerman.
And I couldn't find anything about St. Patrick's Day or Australia, so there are no hunch plays in this race. And Infiltrator sure seems like the one after what I thought was a very good race. Went off as the favorite off a layoff last time, and he was well off the pace, something we don't see from him. He didn't break particularly great. He came with a huge run late. So I really liked the race. I thought it was encouraging, and I think back in this spot here, what I like is he's protected in this race, so he cannot be claimed in this spot, which is a big-time positive. I think Eddie Milligan Jr. is trying to get a win here and taking advantage of those conditions with a good horse without having to lose him at the claim box. So always something you want to note, gals.
Yeah, I love the fact that they keep protecting this horse. The only way that you couldn't choose the waiver is if the horse won last out. So, like you said, Matt, I like the fact because the claim game is so strong here that he wants to keep this horse for good reason. But, Crystal, I see you concur.
I do, for all the reasons that Matt just said. I just thought that first up effort was so impressive. He got back, he flashed home, he gets beat 3/4 of a length. He'd been off since May. Like, that's tough to do. So, I think he should be cycling forward fitness-wise. As long as he doesn't get the dreaded second up syndrome on the bounce, that could be the only problem. But like you said, he's protected. I think the stars align for a perfect storm here today for Infiltrator.
Well, we look to see Eddie Milligan get his first win of the season, and they all look fantastic in the paddock. And Eddie actually still gets on his horses himself, so you know that this horse is going to be super, super fit and ready to go. Race number 7 is for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, a first-level allowance, and they are going to route a mile and a 16th, as this is the first leg of the late 50-cent pick 4. It's hard enough to put together 2 wins, meaning back-to-back, but there's a horse in here actually going for the hat trick, and that is the favorite, Flashy Lass, 2-1 on the morning line. Crystal?
Yeah, look, I thought Flashy Lass looked very, very good in here. I've seen her in the mornings. She's just a big, strong, stunning style of filly. Still only a 4-start veteran, and she's eligible for that non-3 condition. Has to face more experienced foes in here, but she's been in a very solid vein of form, winning her last 2 in good fashion, including a first-level allowance at Remington Park, last out by 6 with an 84 buyer. She finished ahead of a next out allowance winner in that effort also. Second out here for the Marquette barn as well, who have good stats with new faces and a 19% strike rate with this length of freshen up. She's a winner at this trip. She seems to be on an upward trajectory in her last 3 outs. Race flow maps out favorably too, I think, for her to get across from that wide post and take up a spot just off the speed where she seems to be running well from.
Matt, I see you concur with Crystal Conning and myself. What was it about Flashy Lass that kind of talked to you?
Well, hopefully good minds think alike here.
Let's hope so.
I think that, for one, she's versatile. We saw her win at Keeneland in a maiden special week going 2 turns. You know that when you do that, you got to have some talent to win at that level over there.
Very much.
What I love about this move is Ron Moquette, and we've seen this with some of his horses, taking advantage of the conditions, because you look, and she's won a first-level allowance, so you say, well, why is she eligible? Well, she earned in that start less money than the condition to where you wouldn't be eligible. So she is eligible for this first-level allowance based on the condition. I think she's a very nice filly. I think there's room for her to grow. I think it was a great buy to purchase her out of that maiden win. I think there's a lot of room there for her to really be a solid race filly. So I'm excited to see how Flashy Lass kicks off her 4-year-old season here.
Race number 8 is a 4-year-old and up. Optional claim price of $62,500. Others racing for that second level allowance, and they will go 6 furlongs, and I think very quickly in this division. Did have a scratch of the number 1, and a handful are actually taking on that second level allowance for the first time today, and one of those is the 5-2 morning line favorite, Easy Action. Matt, let's start with you.
Easy Action comes off a big win last time out, but there's some pace in here. So I'm looking at one that can come from just off of it, and I landed on Life is Hard. And based on how we have fun up here, that wouldn't be the case with us. It doesn't seem like life's too hard for us right now, but we're having a good time. But I just loved his last race. I thought it was very good behind a very good horse. He sat off the speed, and a lone speedster at that, Super Ocho, who's grade 2 placed. Actually, maybe grade 1 placed. He ran 3rd in the big sprint race.
Yeah, I think so.
At Santa Anita, yeah. So he's a good horse, and he was taking advantage of the conditions he was eligible for. But I thought Life is Hard ran super. There's going to be a pace from the chase here. Jimmy DeVito, I think an underrated trainer. I think he does a really good job. And this horse here loves this track. 7 starts, 2 wins, 3 seconds. So he does well here in the wintertime.
You gotta love a horse for course. As I mentioned, Easy Action testing the condition for the first time today, but Crystal ends on a different horse that is testing the condition for the first time today. And if memory serves, Crystal, you picked this horse last time.
I did, yep, and I'm going to get back on the Benjamin theme.
There you go.
I didn't even realize that till
I'm going with a little bit of a price horse in here. This is a really tough group of seasoned competitors. There's 6 last out winners in here and a couple of others coming off very narrow defeats. So this is a very salty sort of group. I'm going to take a little price with the 8-1 Spend Benjamins for Aaron Shorter, Rafael Bejarano. I did take this horse last time. I thought he showed a lot of toughness winning last time out. He made a long, sustained run that day, and he ended up drawing away. The race did set up well for him there, but I think there's enough speed in this field for it to be genuine enough tempo for him to utilize that big turn of foot that he does have. The second horse came back from that last effort and won an allowance here next out with an 86 buyer. This horse also only ran 3/5 of a second slower than Tewano Twist that day in the Ring the Bell Stakes. So he's pretty rapid, this guy. This is a tough group, but he's a proven, consistent performer. This horse always tries hard. He posted a 92 buyer at Churchill 3 back, which would be good enough to best this group, but tough group, so I thought I'd throw a price in there and see what we can do.
Well, I'm hoping that we see $100 bills in our future with all the references
all
to
the Bennies.
Benjamins and Ben Franklin and all that good stuff.
I want to add, in the casinos that I've gone to, whether in Vegas or other places, my favorite slot machine, I don't play any except for one, the Founding Fathers slot machine.
No
featuring
kidding.
Ben Franklin. And I will not tell you when, but recently I won $1,000 on the Benjamin Franklin Founding Fathers.
Well, you know, we were
You
talking
should be
about
picking all the Bennies today.
yeah, right. You were talking about Wheel of Fortune earlier. That's
Yeah.
always one of my favorite slot machines. When you get to
There you
spin
go.
the wheel, and I also like press your luck, so I'm like, no whammies, no whammies. but yeah, always a good time, not only on the racing side, but in the casino as well. Let's talk stakes action here for race number 9. This is the 5th season, also known as Oaklawn season. This is the 35th running $150,000 purse. They are going to go 1 mile in distance for 4-year-olds and up. Do have a couple scratches out of the 3 and the 8, but still a very talented group. And we were talking about David Jacobson earlier. He sends out the 9-5 favorite in Durante with similar works as the horse prior. So, Crystal, let's start with you for the 5th season.
Yeah, look, one thing, the 5th season is Oaklawn. I'm from Melbourne, which is the city where they say you can get 4 or 5 seasons in a day. So
We've had that here too.
Absolutely, yeah. I just can't get away from that, it seems. But I flip-flopped around on this race for far too long. I decided to maybe play, the sort of devil's advocate in here and not use the favorite sort of horse. I'm going to use the 2 in here, Silver Prospector, for Keith and Steve Asmussen. This guy is just a tough old warhorse type. I love these kind of older campaigners. He's the class of this field. He's a grade 2 winner, and he's made over $1.3 million in his career. He's a graded stakes winner here at Oaklawn and is also proven on the off surface. I think this race maps out perfectly pace-wise for this guy to be asleep early, saving ground, while those speed horses are drawn outside, wider jostle for position. I'm hoping they roll enough in front for this guy to be running over the top of them late. It's going to be a tough ask coming in off that training, off the training disruptions. The 2 favorites don't have those. But if anyone's going to have a horse ready for these conditions, it's going to be our Hall of Fame trainer, Steve Asmussen. I think the 5 and the 6 are going to be really tough, but I'm rooting for the Silver Prospector. He's just a grand old campaigner. He's very cool.
And you've got to love the fact that his last win actually came at Oaklawn over and off surface at the mile distance. So, Matt, what is it about Silver Prospector that you like?
You said a lot of pertinent information, both Crystal and Nancy, because I was going to bring that up after Crystal. But also, look, that was the second start off a break. So this whole story has already been played out before. The question is, can it be a repeated story? He ran a huge race, second start off a layoff last year. And last time out, he looked like he was loaded at the quarter pole. And down the lane, it was almost like he just sort of flattened out. It looked like he had a shot to win. He ran second behind a loose leader who got everything his own way. And he was out-finished for second. But I think maybe fitness-wise, he would get something out of that race. And I've always noted as horses get older, it's like a human being. Sometimes, you know, when you're younger, if you're off for a little while, you go back to the gym, it's a little bit quicker to get back in peak fitness than
That
maybe
muscle
if you're an older
memory.
person. Exactly. So Silver Prospector, he's 7 years old. I wonder if that run will give him some fitness. And there's pace in here with Capuna and Durante. Even Logical Myth could be part of it. So we're going to get a pace for our horse, Crystal.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that was the sort of deciding factor for me with not taking the 5 or the 6 was I'm hoping that they're gonna maybe burn each other up early. And also an interesting fact on the 6 horse when I went through, his best route efforts have been on the turf, and his last win at 2 turns on the dirt was back in November 21. So I think he's vulnerable at 9 to 5.
I do too. And he has shown that he's at his very best right now than we've ever seen from him. But the question is he a sprinter, or is he that good? Is he just gotten really good, or is he just a really good sprinter?
Right.
And at 9 to 5, I'd rather look for someone with a better price, and we're going to get it.
We do have the short stretch run, which is going to be to their advantage.
That's going to be a big factor for
Silver Prospect is not going to have as long to get home. So Keith's going to have to be really on the ball, judging the pace, having his horse in the right spot. But come on, Keith. Matt and I believe in you.
really good field for the 5th season this year. And one thing we have not discussed today is Arkansas breds, as they are featured in the nightcap. This is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, all looking for graduation day of this maiden special weight event, and they're going to contest 6 furlongs. And of course, Arkansas breds, which means we have a full field of 12. And you see the number 11, Miss Arkansas, who will be here next Saturday.
Will she?
Corey Keller. So very honored to have her with us next Saturday. But for race number 10, there are 5 first-time starters in this group, including the second choice Aurora G from the barn of Donnie Kate von Hemel. Crystal, I'm going to start with you in this one.
Well, we're all trying to see the 10-horse home a winner here in the nightcap. My Julia for Randy Morris, who had a really nice winner yesterday. Manny Escobar in the irons, he also had a winner yesterday. 5 to 1, a nice enough little price. Taking a first-time starter here over a few that are getting to have had just a few too many tries for me. I love a fresh face when there's a few others that have been slightly disappointing. Barn excels with first-timers, 24% strike rate, but they really, really excel in these state-bred contests with a 35% strike rate with state-bred first-timers. This one has one sibling to the races who won at first asking, and sire yields 11% winners with first-timers, but 18% winners with firsters, 2-year-old firsters. I know this filly's 3, but obviously that stallion's throwing precocious kind of types. She's got a steady, decent work pattern, but I love that bullet work going 3/8 at Churchill on November 25. She went up down the strip there in 36, so she can obviously gallop a little. And Manny Escobar, to me, is a good hand on these young horses as well. He gives them plenty of confidence. He's a brave sort of rider, and I think that's really important on a first-timer.
Matt, what about you in the nightcap? I see across the board, 10s across the board. That's one of my favorite sayings on one of my favorite shows, 10s across the board. But yeah, going with the first-timer as well.
Randy Morse has had real good success this meet with these
He's
Arkansas
a phenomenal horseman.
Very good horseman, can train any type of horse, really. And you look at the pedigree. Let's dive into that. I mean, this filly has one sibling, a full sibling, and she won on debut
That's
here
a
at Oaklawn.
big thing for her right now.
So there's pedigree to suggest precocity. There is pedigree suggesting she can sprint. You've got a good trainer on her side. You've got a good jockey. And I suppose that's really the only way you can analyze these first-time starters is through all those avenues, and everything checks off well. So my Julia, I guess if we all picked her, if that's a good sample size, we won't be getting 5-1. But if she wins, a win's a win, and we'll take the cash over the losses.
And I'm a big fan of the person of this horse's namesake, so we're rooting for you, girl. Let's go ahead and take a look at Crystal and Matt's Showbet bonus parlay that they have put together. As they're both going to go 4 deep and both starting out with race number 1. A little bit different, but they only have to hit the board. Don't have to win, don't have to finish second, as long as they run first, second, or third. As Crystal goes races 1, 3, 4, 9, and Matt spreads it out to 1, 5, 6, 7. Long shot play of the day for Matt Dinerman, see what I did there, is Mirage in race number 3, and Crystal, again with that Ben Hunch play, is looking to spin Benjamins in race number 8, and both having their top pick sponsored by Oaklawn Anywhere with Flashy Lass in race number 7. And Matt Bitterman, he's not done because he's got a 50 cent minimum cross-country pick 5 as we are in cahoots with Naira, showing a couple of their races accumulated in the cross-country pick 5. So, Matt, talk us through your ticket.
This thing pays. We're going to be getting some Benjamins if we can get this thing here. It always pays. That's why I'm giving you a $60 ticket. Very competitive first leg at Aqueduct. We're going to go 5 deep there. And Linda Rice, we trust. Leg B, we're going to use both her runners. And that's usually a pretty safe bet. Leg C, there's Flashy Lass, both Crystal and I's best bet of the day, and I'm going to single her, what the heck. Then we go to leg D, very competitive sprint race there, second level allowance. I've got Spend Benjamins on there too, Crystal, your top pick, and I've got a few others on there, my top pick.
I love Crystal.
She's already talking smack before the race.
She's like the
even
quiet
started.
confidence. She's like, hey, you should have that horse on top.
That's why she did so well as a jockey with that confidence. And then in race 9, we're going to go 3 deep there in the lovely 5th season stakes. And altogether, $60 to play. But I'm willing to invest if I can get a good payout. So that's what we're going to do today.
And with that $60 ticket, you are looking to get some Benjamins back on your return. Very excited as the 4 stakes originally carded for this Saturday will be transferred to next Saturday's card, and the draw will take place tomorrow. So we will have hopefully a good idea of how many at least will be in each respective race once we do come on air for the Sunday edition of Oaklawn Today. So a very good 10 race card. Glad to see that the rain is out of our system. So Matt's going to go to the roof and give you all the changes on the program. Don't forget to get your free entry upon admission for those 21 years and older for that chance of your share of $20,000. So for Matt Bitterman, and Crystal Conning, I'm Nancy Holthus. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday edition of Oaklawn Today. May all your selections be winners.